What's good, YouTube? It's your boy KFX. I'm back with another video. Got the post-game video for the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets, where the Miami Dolphins have now won 6 straight games, and we are now 7-7. We beat the Jets 24-31. Now the Jets are, which I would say are terrible. This wasn't an easy win though. I wasn't expecting it to be easy again because listen, even though the Dolphins are 7-7, I still don't even know what team we are. So I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but I was expecting us to win. And this was a pretty hard win, I would say, but at the same time, we damn near dominated them. I don't know. It was a very tough. All right, so here's what happened. Okay, basically. Now I will say this: I had to rewatch the first half because I missed it at the beginning because I was locked out my apartment. It's a long story. I left my keys at work, so I was locked out. There's only one set, and then it's Sunday, so the guy's not at the office, so I had to go back to work. It was bad. Okay. But I missed a lot of the first half. But for what I did see, it looks like Tua was playing really bad in the first half, and then also the Jets just were running trick. This was the Jets Super Bowl. Let's just be honest, they sucked. So this was the biggest game for their season. They won this game. This was their game. Okay. They were running all type of trick plays, this, that, the third. The plays that good teams will bring out against solid play in the playoffs. They was doing that. Versus us in a regular season because this is the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? And so we had to withstand that. It's it's like when people play in Madison Square Garden. That's what they took this as, you know what I'm saying? Because Madison Square Garden is such a legendary arena that everybody really tries super hard against Madison Square Garden. And that's what the Knicks have to deal with. We have to deal with the Jets trying super hard versus us just because we're just so much better than them and they're not playing for anything, that they would just balls to the wall, had nothing to lose. We had a lot to lose. We had to play more carefully. And Jalen Waddle and Javon Holland didn't play. But I feel like it was a combination of all those things that really just helped them get out to an early lead. It was really the flukery. But at some point, the fluke plays, the trick plays are cool, they're nice. At some point, though, you're going to actually have to play better than your opponent. You're actually going to have to. You wasn't going to live like that. At some point, you was going to have to start playing actual football. That could give you a head start. All that trickery could give you a head start, but you're going to have to play better. And I knew the Jets was never going to outplay us for 4 quarters of football. Now, they were playing good at the beginning, though. Combination of Tua and inaccurate at the beginning, and then the trickery. Okay, is why they jumped out to the early lead. Once the Miami Dolphins actually settled down, they had no chance. The second half, which I actually watched the whole thing, that we dominated them. We dominated them. There was a pick six that was pretty bad, but other than that, they had 17 points. They stayed at 17. They could not defensively. They could not move the. Offensively, they could not move the ball. Defensively, they got the pick six. That was good for them. They got the pick six. That's what really kept them in the game in the second half. But in reality, they just most drives our offense got the best of them. We had a running game today. Duke Johnson, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is the first 100-yard rusher that the Miami Dolphins have had in a long, long time. Myles Gaskins, 10 rushes, 54 yards. Myles Gaskin really had broke one and got a lot of those yards on one carry. But, we were able to run the ball today, and that was kind of shocking. But I think it's more so the Jets just being terrible because I'm looking at Duke Johnson, and honestly, I hype him up on Twitter. I'm like, oh, my God, we might got a running back for the future. But this is Duke Johnson's 7th year in the league. Let's be honest. We didn't discuss because he looked like LaDainian Tomlinson today, and I'm like, we didn't discover LaDainian Tomlinson. I think the Jets are just awful. But honestly, I give him his credit too. He's also good. Don't get me wrong. He's good, but he's not like an every down back probably. And I think the Jets are fucking terrible. Again, he could be good, but today he looked like LaDainian Tomlinson, and then he's not LaDainian Tomlinson. So. Tua, 16 for 27, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Again, the beginning he started bad, and he had the pick six in the second half. But other than that, he played pretty well. Again, this was I guess it was a bit of a rough game. Well, yeah, it was a rough game for him. It was actually a very rough game, but we won. That's the key. Okay, so it was rough. You don't really want to have this type of game versus a good team. Again, there's teams where you could take a quarter off versus not take a quarter off, but you could lose a quarter and be okay. Again, and the Dolphins started off slow, was getting their ass beat at the end of the first, second quarter. But, the Jets are terrible. The Jets are one of those teams where it's like, okay, you start off slow versus them, you still have a chance. You know what I'm saying? You can easily get back in the game. They suck, okay? And I don't really feel bad about saying the Jets suck, or I don't feel bad about saying they're awful or terrible or beating them while they're down because they would do the same to us. So don't feel bad. The Jets are terrible. You can say it loud, proud, because they would do the same to us. And they are going to do the same to us if we're ever in a position where we're worse than them again. That's a fact. All right. It's the same way with Bills fan. Bills fan were the most. They wasn't humble, but they wasn't bro, you get to see people true colors when their team is good. The Jets, they're probably the worst team in the division as far as fan base, just assholeness, and they're just very quiet because they suck. They can't say anything. But the Bills, they were like quiet once upon a time, you remember? And then the Patriots, we forgot they existed when Tom Brady left. Now all of a sudden they're back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these fan bases are terrible. All three of them. That's why I hate the whole division. It's without Waddle. Waddle's a huge part of our offense. Devontae Parker's he stepped up, 4 receptions, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. But Isaiah Ford was also the guy that kind of like took Waddle's spot. He only had about 3 receptions, 51 yards. Mike Gesicki, 5 receptions, 43 yards. I mean, it was more, I guess, an evenly distributed day. But Waddle would have been bigger. If we had Waddle, if we had Javon Holland, we probably win by. Really, the biggest takeaway from this game was just the running game. And again, it's so hard to tell if it's just a result of the Jets just being that terrible. Because again, if it was Duke Johnson like first actual game in his career or like first season or 2 seasons, I'd be like, oh my God, maybe we have a running back for the future. But I'm looking at him and he's been in the league 7 years. You be telling me he's this good and nobody ever knew? Like I'm thinking like it might be the Jets. Zach Wilson's stats: 13 completions. 23 attempts, 170 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's mid. He had a rushing touchdown though, but again, he's not even mid. I don't think Zach Wilson's that good. Truth be told, I think he's not that. And their offensive line does suck. But again, we just keep making excuses for every single fucking everybody out in the world. Listen, Zach Wilson's not that good. He's just not. I'm sorry, he's not that guy. You restart Jets. He sucks. And yeah, this will be a cold take, I'm sure, if he actually does become good, and you know they could use this for his documentary. If I ever become big, and they'll look at this and say, you know, they'll put this a clip of me saying this, but Zach Wilson is terrible. I mean, I don't know what to say. Tevin Coleman, 8 rushes, 50 yards. Michael Carter, 8 rushes, 18 yards. They were trying to run the ball a little bit, but you know, to no really avail. The passing game didn't really work either, but you don't have the offensive line sucks. The Jets. I don't. They're just as bad as you can get, right? You know. Almost. All right, they won 3 games. I don't know how, but they're almost just as bad as you can get. You know, they brought out all these trick plays today, trying to be a Super Bowl contender. They come out all hype and everything, and still get their ass beat by the Dolphins. So they're just as bad as you can get. And now we move on to Monday Night Football, which will be versus the Saints. And that's going to be a pretty intense game. You know, I still don't even look at the playoff pictures, but I probably will make a playoff video maybe tomorrow. Because, you know, I do want to actually see now that we're even. I do want to see the playoff, what's going on with the implications of that. So I actually will probably check that out tomorrow. But I still haven't really even checked out the playoff pictures. But that is going to be the video, guys. I mean, listen. We're a better team than the Jets this year. That's just the reality. We were better than them like last year, the year before. They haven't really been better than us since like Mark Sanchez. They made the AFC Championship game a couple times. They were fucking obnoxious. So now they just suck. You know, probably payback from them just being the most obnoxious fan base in the world. I remember I had to keep seeing that fireman guy all the time. Like again, I get it. I get it. He's passionate. I'm passionate too, but we don't want to see that. So you know, I'm glad they're terrible again. Okay. Anyways, get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. But let me. Saints in the Superdome shall not be easy. I don't care if Taysom Hill is the quarterback. I don't care who. Saints in the Superdome is never going to be easy. Never, ever. It's a hard place for quarterbacks too, especially. So that's going to be interesting. But get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, roll to 11K on Facebook. Flexing. I'm out.